Hello, and welcome to the last episode for this season of Weather Watch, Millersville University's exclusive weather entertainment program. I'm your host, Danielle Green. Let's start off by getting you caught up with the weather that's made headlines these past few weeks, with your weather in 60 seconds.
Monsoon battering the coast of Southeast Asia. Unusually cold temperatures in Europe and warm temperatures in the United States is what is in your weather in 60 seconds. Starting in Asia, the monsoon season this year has been particularly strong. Some areas are reporting over 8 inches in time periods of less than 24 hours. The widespread flooding has killed over 50 people in Vietnam and upwards of 870 in China over the course of this rainy season. Around 200,000 homes have been flooded, with hundreds being destroyed. With over $22 billion worth of damage being done to China, this is the second costliest flood on their records. Moving to northern Europe, cold weather seems to be developing from cold air flowing over the Arctic and into mainland Europe. The polar vortex centered above Europe has been guiding cold air from the Arctic into northern and western Europe. There has been an area of high pressure over Scandinavia stalling the air and pushing it into Europe. This high pressure stall statistically will mean part or all of this upcoming winter will be colder than average. On the other hand, the United States experienced an unusually warm fall. The northern polar vortex circulation has let almost uninterrupted mild North Pacific air to flow across the continent. This is due to the La Nina, the cooling of certain parts of the Pacific Ocean. This shapes much of North America's weather. The La Nina has brought warm and dry temperatures to much of the continent, so for all the people that like cold weather, you'll just have to wait a little bit longer than normal. And that's your weather in 60 seconds.
The sun normally has a few dark spots covering the outer layer, but over the summer these spots have faded away for a small period of time. Here's student meteorologist Nick Kristen with more information about this in a new segment of Spaced Out.
We all know that the sun is covered in sunspots, cooler depressions on the solar surface where magnetic activity suppresses convective activity. In 2009, sunspots reached nearly zero, a rarity after which in 2014 they reached a week maximum. Since 2014, sunspots have been on the decline, with about 15 per month. The month of November has been a quiet one for geomagnetic activity. There have been few sunspots and few and weak geomagnetic events. On November 5th, there was a solar filament and CME that produced beautiful solar aurora in the polar regions. One feature that has been fairly significant is the fraction of the solar disk occupied by coronal holes. Coronal holes are features seen in X-ray images of the solar disk. They are regions associated with open magnetic field lines and are often found near the sun's poles. Magnetic field lines are usually seen as loops. Open magnetic field lines allow for the acceleration of particles outward and away from the sun at unusually high speeds, and when properly aligned with the Earth, can produce outstanding auroral displays even during these periods of quiet sun. Other manifestations of a quiet sun that we experience are the increases that we typically see in the flux of galactic cosmic rays reaching Earth. With a weak interplanetary magnetic field during the quiescent sun, cosmic rays, which are high-energy particles such as protons and heavier nuclei, moving at speeds near the speed of light, can collide with particles in our atmosphere and create problems for commercial air travel. These rays have also been known to increase cloud cover and lightning. The next time we will see a solar maximum is in 2019 or 2020. From Weather Watch, I'm student meteorologist Nick Kristen.
Thanks, Nick. After last winter's historic snowstorm, many were wondering what is in store for this upcoming winter season. Next, student meteorologist Sarah Kleinhert will give us the 2016-2017 winter outlook for the Lancaster area.
As the winter season approaches, the question on everyone's mind is what the winter weather will bring. Here's Eric Horst with his predicted winter outlook.
Now this winter, the weather patterns will likely be much different. In the Pacific, the El Nino is gone. La Nina is developing. It's a weak La Nina, that's the cool phase in the Pacific, and what that tends to do is weaken the southern storm track, strengthen the storm track off the northern Pacific, and hence the storm track will be coming across the country kind of in that I-70 to I-90 corridor. So that active storm track will mean above average snow across the northern tier states, from the Cascades to the northern Rockies to the upper Midwest, into the Great Lakes, and perhaps even into the Northeast. Down here in Pennsylvania, the Mid-Atlantic region, it's going to depend on the storm track. If the storms track to our north, well, then we get rain or wintry mix. If we can get a couple systems, and I think we will, that track to our south across the Virginias, well, then we'll likely see some plowable snows. I'm thinking we end up near average snowfall, which in this area, the long-term average is 26 inches. Let's call average range, however, from 20 to about 32. Since the standard deviation on snowfall is quite large here season to season. So 20 to 32 inches, that's my forecast. And in terms of temperatures this winter, certainly we'll have more cold spells than last winter, but also I think some mild spells. As those Pacific Clippers track by, they can also drag mild air eastward. And hence, we may see a kind of a temperature roller coaster ride this winter where overall temperatures average out near normal. Summarizing this winter, near average snowfall, 20 to 32 inches, somewhere in that range. Temperatures, a roller coaster ride, but averaging out near normal. And probably a reduced threat of a big snowstorm, a real whopper like last winter. I think that's less likely this winter. However, again, several moderate snows and maybe even one icy storm, which is something we often see in a weak La Nina winter.
That was Eric Horst with his winter outlook. This is just a prediction based on trends, so stay tuned next season to find out what the winter weather brings. Reporting for Weather Watch, I'm student meteorologist Sarah Kleinert.
Thanks, Sarah. Well, that concludes this episode of Weather Watch. Please be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. You can also visit our website, mewweatherwatch.com, to view all of our previous episodes. On behalf of the entire cast and crew, thanks for watching, and be sure to catch us next time.